Assalamualaikum, salam hormat. Anda menyaksikan Niaga AWANI bersama saya Harits Asyraf. Banyak perkembangan ekonomi dan juga bisnes akan saya bawakan sepanjang 1 jam setengah ini, terutamanya berkait dengan COP28. Itu cerita bersama dengan Zulfikri Yusof selepas ini. Tapi sebelum itu kita ke laporan ekonomi tempatan terlebih dahulu, di mana Bursa Carbon Exchange BCX, anak syarikat milik penuh Bursa Malaysia Berhad, memeterai memorandum persefahaman MOU dengan gold standard untuk membangunkan dan meluaskan lanskap pasaran karbon sukarela di Malaysia. Pemeteraian itu diadakan di luar persidangan ke-28 pihak-pihak atau COP28 bagi Konvensyen Rangka Kerja Pertubuhan Bangsa-Bangsa Bersatu mengenai perubahan iklim UNFCCC di Dubai pada Isnin.
Gold Standard adalah pengasas piawaian, pemberi sijil dan penerbit kredit karbon yang teguh dan diiktiraf di peringkat terbangsa selain direkodkan dan dijejaki dalam pendaftaran impak Gold Standard. MOU ini akan membolehkan BCX meningkatkan tawaran berkenaan pertukaran karbon dan menambahkan ilmu kepada penggiat ekosistemnya dalam aspek seperti proses pendaftaran projek karbon sehingga kepada pengoperasian metodologi dan inisiatif penetapan piawaian oleh Gold Standard. Langkah ini akan memberi sokongan kepada BCX memandangkan ia memperluas tawaran kredit karbon daripada projek karbon tempatan dan antarabangsa. Ketua Pegawai Eksekutif Bursa Malaysia, Datuk Muhammad Umar Swift berkata, langkah memperluas tawaran itu akan menyokong peralihan negara menuju ekonomi karbon rendah. Jelasnya pemeteraian MOU ini adalah tepat pada masanya berikutan pihaknya menyasarkan untuk memperluas platform dagangan BCX untuk menyertakan kredit karbon yang diperakui oleh Gold Standard mulai tahun ini dan seterusnya. Menerusi penerapan piawaian kredit karbon antarabangsa terkemuka seperti Vera dan Gold Standard kepada BCX, Bursa Malaysia akan membuka pasaran kepada lebih banyak pemaju projek karbon dan metodologi yang seiring dengan peranan mereka untuk mempermudah akses kepada rangkaian kredit karbon berkualiti tinggi yang lebih luas. Menurut Muhammad Umar, BCX berhasrat untuk muncul sebagai bursa barangan alam sekitar berbilang aset di peringkat global bagi memenuhi pelbagai keperluan pelanggan. Muhammad Umar berkata BCX bercadang untuk menawarkan REC daripada projek yang mematuhi piawaian IRAT.
Pusat Pameran dan Perdagangan Antarabangsa Malaysia MyTech telah dinamakan sebagai Pusat Persidangan dan Mesyuarat Terkemuka Dunia 2023. Pengumuman itu dibuat pada Majlis Gala Grand Final World Travel Awards WTA 2023 yang berlangsung di Dubai setelah menewaskan 18 calon lain.
Ia juga menjadikan MyTech Malaysia sebagai tempat pertama yang dibina khas bagi mesyuarat, persidangan, pameran dan acara gaya hidup untuk memenangi anugerah dunia WTA sejak anugerah itu dimulakan pada tahun 1993. Pengasas WTA Graham E. Cook berkata, pencapaian luar biasa ini mencerminkan bagaimana MyTech menetapkan penanda aras global dalam sektor itu serta kekuatan industri bagi acara perniagaan di Malaysia. Ketua Pegawai Eksekutif MyTech Maladur Rasami mengaitkan pencapaian itu dengan dedikasi yang tidak berbelah bahagi daripada setiap kaki tangan pasukan MyTech, ahli lembaga pengarah, pelanggan, penyedia perkhidmatan dan pihak berkepentingan. Dengan ruang pameran dan konvensyen berkeluasan 52,000 meter persegi, MyTech ialah pusat pameran dan perdagangan terbesar di Malaysia. Tahun 2023 merupakan tahun yang paling sibuk untuk pusat itu sejak dibuka semula selepas COVID-19. Perjalanan MyTech daripada berkhidmat sebagai pusat pemvaksinan mega pertama di Malaysia pada 2021 dan pembukaan semulanya sebagai tempat acara perniagaan dan gaya hidup pada 2022 dengan menghancurkan lebih 160 acara dan lebih 3 juta pelawat pada 2023 sememangnya patut dicontohi, kata kenyataan itu. Tahun ini MyTech menjana 550,000 jam kerja casual dan 7.2 juta ringgit dalam bentuk gaji kepada sektor ekonomi gig, memanfaatkan kebanyakan pelajar universiti dengan bukan sahaja membolehkan mereka memperoleh pendapatan tetapi juga mendapatkan pengalaman profesional yang bermakna dalam industri acara. Calon-calon lain untuk anugerah itu adalah pemain utama dalam industri acara perniagaan antarabangsa termasuk pemenang WTA terdahulu seperti Pusat Konvensyen Las Vegas, Excel London, Pusat Konvensyen Nasional Qatar, Pusat Konvensyen Pameran Suntec Singapura dan Pusat Konvensyen Dublin.
Okey, baik. Seterusnya kita nak melihat perkembangan ekonomi semasa antara Malaysia dan Melbourne dan bagaimana kita boleh meningkatkan hubungan serta kerjasama dua hala dalam pelbagai sektor. Kita terus saja bersama koresponden kami di Melbourne, Nina Rozman.
Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Anda bersama saya Rozman dan kini saya berada di pejabat Konsulat Malaysia di Melbourne, Australia, dan kini saya bersama tetamu khas di sebelah saya merupakan Konsul Jeneral Malaysia di Melbourne, merupakan Nik Muhammad Nashron Shah, Nik Daud. Saya nak ucapkan terima kasih Encik Nik kerana sudi meluangkan masa bersama kami berada di Melbourne, Australia. Sudah tentu apa topik yang untuk kita bincang pada kali ini, untuk kita lihat bagaimanakah hubungan ataupun perkembangan semasa antara Malaysia dan juga rakyat di Melbourne, Australia ni. Sudah tentu kita nak beri perincian daripada Encik Nik sendiri. Mungkin pertama sekali Encik Nik boleh gambarkan bagaimanakah keadaan semasa hubungan perdagangan antara hubungan perdagangan dan juga perniagaan antara Malaysia dan juga Melbourne ketika ini.
Terima kasih banyak Ina kerana sudi berkunjung ke pejabat kami di Konsulat Jeneral Malaysia di Melbourne. Sebagai orang kata pembuka bicara, izinkan saya bagi tahu sedikit mukadimahnya. Ini merupakan pejabat yang kami baru pindah daripada tempat lama. Kami baru pindah ke destinasi ini pada 1 Julai tahun ini. Dan Alhamdulillah setakat ini semuanya berjalan lancar. Melbourne secara amnya merupakan satu destinasi yang tidak asing untuk rakyat Malaysia kerana pelbagai sebab. Kita ada ramai pelajar, kita ada komuniti perniagaan, dan soalan yang Nina tanya tadi adalah sangat bertepatan bagi saya. Kerana banyak peluang-peluang perniagaan yang kita boleh pertikaikan lagi antara Malaysia dan Australia, terutamanya yang melibatkan Melbourne dan Victoria. Peranan kita di sini ialah sebagai pemudah cara daripada pelbagai segi. Salah satunya ialah dengan mengeluarkan apakah peluang-peluang ekonomi yang ada di Malaysia yang boleh diterokai oleh pelabuh-pelabuh Australia yang berminat. Dan juga untuk kita melalui pejabat matrik yang juga berada di Melbourne untuk memberikan maklumat-maklumat terkini mengenai peluang-peluang yang ada untuk diterokai oleh peniaga-peniaga ataupun komuniti perniagaan yang berada di Malaysia. Untuk kita merancangkan lagi hubungan ekonomi ini, kita mungkin boleh mengenal pasti apakah sektor-sektor yang bertepatan dan juga sektor-sektor yang bersesuaian. Dan kami semestinya sangat berbesar hati sekiranya dapat memberikan sebaik mungkin peluang ataupun informasi terkini yang boleh kita berkongsi bersama sebagai memudahkan lagi urusan komuniti-komuniti perniagaan yang berminat untuk melebarkan sayap mereka di Australia dan khususnya di Melbourne.
Kalau kita lihat dengan cabaran ekonomi global yang dijangka untuk tumbuh dengan sederhana, mungkin boleh kongsikan antara cabaran semasa antara hubungan dua hala antara Malaysia dengan Melbourne ini.
Cabaran semasa mungkin dari segi kekurangan maklumat yang tepat ataupun data-data dan juga statistik yang memulihkan pertimbangan-pertimbangan ataupun business decision yang dibuat belum mereka hadir untuk mencari peluang-peluang tertentu di bumi Melbourne ini. Dari segi cabaran lain saya lihat tidak banyak kerana hubungan rakyat ke rakyat sentiasa mesra. Kita ada jaringan hubungan udara yang sangat baik. Bagi contoh Malaysia Airlines, setiap hari ada penerbangan di sini dan jumlah penumpangnya amat besar. Cuma yang mungkin kita boleh pertingkatkan lagi ialah dari segi pengumpulan maklumat supaya data-data ataupun bidang-bidang yang kita ingin terokai itu adalah bertepatan, dan supaya setiap lawatan delegasi ataupun komuniti perniagaan dari Malaysia ataupun dari Australia ke Malaysia dapat dipergunakan dengan sebaiknya. Sebagai saranan contoh, saya suka sekiranya sebelum sebarang komuniti perniagaan melawat Malaysia, ada baiknya kita membuat perjumpaan secara maya. Mungkin melalui webinar atau juga melalui apa-apa jual platform yang difikirkan bersesuaian. Ini sedikit sebanyak boleh membantu supaya apa-apa pertolongan ataupun apa-apa informasi yang kita ingin sampaikan memenuhi kehendak masing-masing.
Kalau kita nak lihat ketika ini, mungkin apa antara inisiatif atau sumbangan untuk meningkatkan lagi iaitu pembangunan ekonomi atau perdagangan dua hala antara Malaysia dan juga terutamanya Melbourne?
Kalau Nina mungkin sudah meninjau keadaan di Melbourne ini sendiri, kita banyak syarikat-syarikat Malaysia yang terletak dalam property development. Sebagai contoh, bangunan yang disewa oleh Konsulat Jeneral Malaysia ini dibangunkan oleh Eco-World International, syarikat Malaysia sendiri. Dan Nina boleh tengok betapa cantiknya bangunan ini, sesuai sangat bertepatan dengan imej kita dan juga turut memberi sumbangan dari segi kita meningkatkan lagi servis kepada rakyat Malaysia yang hadir di pejabat ini. Itu salah satu. Dan kedua ialah mungkin dari segi kita kena faham Australia ini kos sangat tinggi dan kita boleh menggalakkan supaya syarikat-syarikat Australia menjadikan Malaysia sebagai hub untuk apa-apa jua yang mereka ingin buat.
Kita nak melihat kepada dasar dan polisi, apakah antara dasar ekonomi utama yang di Malaysia yang memberi kesan kepada perniagaan, terutama yang mempunyai impak kepada kepentingan antarabangsa.
Dasar ekonomi semasa Malaysia yang memberi impak pada satu soalan yang sangat menarik bagi saya. Kita ingat kita berada di dasar yang tepat antara di bawah kerajaan Malaysia Madani, dan Perdana Menteri kita sentiasa mengeluarkan di peringkat antarabangsa. Ini masanya untuk kita meneruskan agenda pertumbuhan ekonomi. Dari segi masalah-masalah ataupun dasar-dasar yang mungkin beri impak negatif, saya fikir tidak ada di Malaysia. Angka-angka yang ditunjukkan oleh agensi-agensi kita sentiasa baik, dan ini semestinya menjadi satu insentif kepada pelabur-pelabur luar termasuk daripada Melbourne dan Victoria sendiri untuk terus hadir ke Malaysia dan juga untuk terus kita katakan sebagai turut sama menyumbang ke arah pertumbuhan ekonomi dan juga hubungan perdagangan antara Malaysia dengan Australia, terutamanya melalui Victoria.
Kalau pada ketika ini kita tahu kita di fasa pandemik, di pasca pandemik COVID-19, mungkin boleh kongsikan bagaimanakah kerjasama atau perkongsian yang berterusan antara syarikat ataupun institusi antara Malaysia dan juga Melbourne.
Saya boleh lihat kesan yang paling utama ialah pertambahan dari segi hubungan rakyat dengan rakyat dan juga komuniti perniagaan dengan komuniti perniagaan. Selepas pasca pandemik semakin rancak. Malaysia Airlines sebagai contoh, setiap hari ada penerbangan, dan juga untuk tempoh yang agak sibuk di musim panas di Australia ini, mereka akan menambah jumlah penerbangan mereka. Jadi itu adalah sebagai satu bukti pasca pandemik kerancakan dari segi sama ada hubungan rakyat dengan rakyat dan juga hubungan antara komuniti perniagaan. Saya rasa itu adalah satu pemangkin dan juga satu bukti yang amat tepat bahawa kita berada di satu landasan yang amat baik, dan saya harap perkara ini akan berterusan pada tahun 2024.
Jadi Cik Nik, bagaimana Malaysia dapat menyesuaikan diri dengan arah aliran ekonomi global ketika ini, dan kita lihat apakah antara implikasi ataupun impak terhadap ini kepada perniagaan yang beroperasi di Malaysia dan juga di Melbourne?
Terima kasih Nina. Pasca pandemik seperti yang saya katakan tadi, ia memberi satu peluang kepada sektor komuniti untuk meneruskan aktiviti mereka di luar negara, untuk keluar daripada comfort zone. Sebagai contoh, kita amat menggalakkan penyertaan company syarikat-syarikat Malaysia untuk mencubukan diri dalam pelbagai pameran ataupun exhibition berlangsung di Melbourne, supaya mereka menggunakan kesempatan tersebut bagi memperkenalkan lagi pembuatan produk-produk mereka di Melbourne. Dan juga pada masa yang sama, ini akan memberikan peluang kepada mereka untuk mengenal pasti mungkin potensial partner yang mereka boleh bekerjasama secara rapat bagi membawa mereka ke Malaysia. Pasca pandemik ini memang betul sangat mencabar, tetapi peluang yang diberikan oleh pasca pandemik ini juga adalah sangat besar. Dan saya rasa komuniti perniagaan semestinya boleh mengambil kesempatan ini dengan sebaik mungkin. Salah satu cara ialah seperti menggalakkan lagi perkongsian ataupun pertemuan secara maya, supaya dapat mengenal pasti apa jua peluang-peluang yang kita boleh capai bersama antara satu sama lain.
Kita nak lihat ada tak terdapat projek infrastruktur utama yang kita boleh cakap di Malaysia yang boleh beri peluang kepada Australia, perniagaan syarikat Australia untuk menyertai dan memberi sumbangan?
Boleh. Bagi saya mungkin salah satu ialah dari segi renewable energy. Australia dan Victoria khususnya sangat memberikan fokus dalam industri ini, dan juga dari segi e-digital ialah salah satu bidang yang mungkin mereka boleh kenal pasti untuk bekerjasama. Sebagai contoh, pada tahun ini kita ada delegasi daripada MDEC datang ke Melbourne. So ini adalah salah satu bidang yang mereka sedang identify untuk meneruskan lagi kerjasama antara Malaysia dengan Australia. Di Malaysia infrastruktur ini sudah ada, dan apa yang perlu dibuat sekarang ialah supaya mengintai peluang-peluang yang spesifik supaya kita dapat memberi kerjasama yang baik antara satu sama lain.
Mungkin terakhir sekali bergerak ke hadapan untuk kita lihat, iaitu projek ataupun program inisiatif di masa hadapan. Sejauh manakah pemahaman budaya dalam membina hubungan perniagaan yang berjaya antara Malaysia dan Melbourne ini? Cik Nik.
Terima kasih Nina. Kefahaman mengenai satu sama lain itu amat penting. So, supaya dan peranan kita sebagai Konsulat Jenderal Malaysia di Melbourne ni, kita cuba mengadakan seberapa banyak program yang turut menampilkan elemen-elemen tertentu seperti budaya, supaya ia memberikan satu tarikan kepada bukan sahaja kepada masyarakat tempatan di Victoria, tetapi juga kepada semua masyarakat yang berada di Australia, supaya mereka mengenali Malaysia dengan lebih dekat dan tertarik untuk mengenali Malaysia dengan lebih lanjut, sama ada melalui kebudayaan ataupun perniagaan. Sebagai contoh, pada minggu lepas kita telah mengadakan Colours of Malaysia, satu acara yang ditunjangi oleh pelajar-pelajar Malaysia di Victoria, berlangsung di Queen Victoria Market. Alhamdulillah, sambutan yang amat menggalakkan. Walaupun cuacanya agak
sejuk,
berangin, hujan, tapi inilah satu cara yang saya percaya kita membantu untuk mempromosikan lagi Malaysia di Victoria. InsyaAllah akan ada hasilnya, seperti mungkin melalui durian atau cempedak, yang mana masyarakat
makanan
tradisional. InsyaAllah ini akan membuka peluang ke arah lebih skop yang lebih besar, terutama dari segi kegiatan ekonomi dan hubungan perdagangan antarabangsa.
Okey, saya tambah last.
Boleh.
Mungkin Cik Nik boleh kongsikan antara harapan untuk meningkatkan lagi perdagangan dua hala antara Malaysia dan juga Melbourne.
Okay. Harapan saya supaya tahun 2024 akan membuka ruang yang lebih dari segi kelancaran hubungan perdagangan dua hala antara Malaysia dan Australia, dan kita berikan komitmen kita selaku wakil kerajaan Malaysia di sini untuk memudah cara apa jua pertanyaan ataupun apa bantuan yang perlu daripada komuniti perniagaan Malaysia di Malaysia yang ingin datang ke Australia. Kita juga ada pejabat matrik di sini yang sentiasa menerima pelbagai pertanyaan, dan insya-Allah saya dapat lihat 2024 itulah satu tahun yang lebih rancak, dan harapan saya ialah kita sama-sama menggabungkan tenaga, bekerjasama antara satu sama lain demi kebaikan hubungan dua hala antara Malaysia dan Australia.
Baik, sudah tentu saya nak ucapkan terima kasih kepada Cik Ni Muhammad Astro Syahni Daud, merupakan Konsul Jeneral Malaysia di Melbourne, Australia, kerana telah berkongsikan antara cabaran, peluang bagaimana untuk kita meningkatkan lagi perdagangan dan perniagaan dua hala antara Malaysia dan Melbourne terutamanya. Saya nak ucapkan terima kasih. Dan kita jumpa, harap-harap kita dapat jumpa di Malaysia. Sekian saja perkongsian saya pada kali ini. Untuk saya akhiri pada sesi temu bual kami. Saya nak ucapkan terima kasih. Sekian saja laporan saya untuk Astro AWANI.
Pengeluar makanan dan minuman F&B Yos Malaysia sentiasa memberi keutamaan kepada operasi halalnya yang memainkan peranan penting dalam mengembangkan pasaran dan membina keyakinan pelanggan terhadap rangkaian produknya di Malaysia dan luar negara. Selain memenuhi kehendak pasaran Malaysia, Yos juga tampil sebagai pusat pembuatan dan pengedaran global yang penting ke Indonesia, New Zealand, Australia, Eropah, Indochina dan Amerika Syarikat, menjadikan ia syarikat F&B terkemuka yang mempunyai sijil halal Malaysia untuk pasaran antarabangsa. Untung bersih Umedic Group berhad susut 38.5% kepada 2.1 juta ringgit pada suku pertama berakhir 31 Oktober 2023 berbanding 3.4 juta ringgit pada suku keempat berakhir 31 Julai 2023. Penyusutan itu disebabkan oleh purata untung kasar yang lebih rendah selain peningkatan dan perbelanjaan pemasaran serta perbelanjaan pentadbiran masing-masing. Bio Alpha Holdings Berhad dan Lembaga Pembangunan Langkawi LADA menjalin kerjasama untuk membangunkan projek Langkawi Agro Park bernilai 15 juta ringgit di Langkawi. Dalam makluman kepada Bursa Malaysia, Bio Alpha berkata anak syarikat Bio Alpha Wellness dan Berhad, projek berkenaan akan dibangunkan di Tanah Rizab Melayu milik LADA yang berkeluasan 3.22 hektar di Bandar Padang Maksirat. Laporan penuh di saluran 501 dan astroawani.com serta dagangnews.com.
You know I like you, right? You exploded. dialah cinta yang dicari.
I baru confirm my feelings. I rasa macam dah jatuh cinta.
Bolehkah dia menjadi segalanya?
Serius lah, dah accept arranged marriage. Dan bila aku pandang dia, aku yang nampak arah syurga aku.
And I kind of like what I see.
Kau nak tahu kan saya, supaya saya boleh jadi isteri yang lebih baik untuk awak. Boleh bahagiakan awak.
Syurga itu bukan mudah. Isnin hingga Khamis, 10 malam di Astro dan On Demand.
Dah lambat dah ni nak pergi shoot. Tapi tak apa. Nak tahu tak secret saya? Saya boleh continue stream di Astro Go. Pergi ke saluran 200 dan scan QR code. Mudah dan percuma untuk semua pelanggan Astro.
Okey, baik, kita bertemu kembali. Fungsi Generative AI yang luas mewujudkan peluang luas buat pelbagai sektor untuk meraih manfaat daripadanya. Menurut Ketua Pegawai Eksekutif Kohesiti Sanjay Punan, Generative AI juga mampu melaksanakan e-pencarian yang tepat dan pantas sekaligus menyelesaikan banyak perkara dalam aspek audit.
And we run our own AI algorithms that run data ransomware recovery, scanning, data entropy, a variety of sort of threat hunting capabilities. So that's one. And then generative AI turns out to be an incredible way of summarizing historic data and coming up back with a quick summary. So we built the world's first, what's called retrieval augmented generation, RAG, on top of secondary data and backup. So you can summarize everything that's been there for the last 10, 15 years on the Kohesiti platform and come back with a half-page summary. So for example, maybe you're at a bank and you want to investigate a security breach that happened 10 years ago and you want to get a summary of what the previous CISO wrote about that breach at the time, you could write in a GPT-like window inside our interface, please find me everything that we investigated 10 years ago in 2013 about this breach and come back with a one-page summary. I'm going to go get a cup of coffee and come back in 10 minutes. And the system will go back using retrieval augmented generation. So we've been building this under stealth. We patented this technology because we're the only ones doing that cohesively. And we will release it in the next few months. We're super excited about it. So there's many use cases of AI. And this last example I described, generative AI, is a very good way of being able to do e-discovery and search. Long term, we think this will open up whole new ways to provide insights.
Sementara itu, Sanjay berkata Generative AI juga berkemampuan mengimbas data dengan tepat sekaligus mampu hadir dengan penyelesaian yang diperlukan. Justru AI tidak seharusnya dilihat sebagai ancaman kepada keselamatan cyber, sebaliknya membantu menyelesaikan soal keselamatan cyber.
So in the context of cyber security, what we want to be able to do is use AI techniques to better scan data. So the more that we're able to detect that data early on, we can then respond to it faster. And then we're also going to use AI techniques that we already do in many cases to be able to recover into a clean room very effectively. So the AI capabilities we have built in the product and have done for many, many years allow you to be able to build better and better algorithms that can detect the presence of ransomware and security ultimately is an AI problem because the more that you are running your AI algorithms on data, the more likely you're going to find a pattern of some threat vector that could be an early warning to some malware that's operating, maybe sometimes even sleeper cell on top of your data.
Dalam pada itu, Sanjay menegaskan dunia kini sememangnya menggunakan pakai teknologi awan yang pelbagai atau multi-cloud serta hybrid berbanding hanya menumpukan kepada penggunaan satu sistem sahaja.
I think the world is hybrid and multi-cloud. But hybrid just means that you're going to have data center and edge in addition to cloud. So you have to think of those. If you're a manufacturing plant, you're going to have edge. If you're retail, you're going to have edge. Even sometimes in a bank, you're going to have edge. Data centers are going to stay because there are some apps that are just better off built for the data center. And sometimes even for example, in our industry, a lot of the data protection of secondary and backup data needs to sit closer to the data centers and to the zone because people don't want to pay ingress and egress into a cloud. So I think the world is going to stay hybrid and it's also going to stay multi-cloud. For example, the reason, we are at the Amazon conference, but a lot of customers have SaaS applications like Office 365 that run in Azure, or they might have a Google Workspace, a SaaS application running in Google. So I think every organization should build a robust hybrid and multi-cloud strategy.
Sanjay ditemui di Amazon Web Services Re:Invent di Las Vegas, forum yang mengumpulkan pakar seluruh dunia dalam industri teknologi awan, AI dan pelbagai lagi.
Anak syarikat milik penuh tidak langsung UEM Agenta Berhad, Agenta International Investments LLC memeterai perjanjian jual dan beli serta perjanjian pemegang saham dengan NW Kaizen Holdings Limited yang berpangkalan di Emirat Arab Bersatu UAE bagi mengambil alih 60% kepentingan equity dalam Kaizen Owner Association Management Services LLC dan Kaizen Arms Property Supervision LLC. Pembelian itu akan dilengkapkan pada harga RM55.1 juta secara tunai. D6 Malaysia bekerjasama buat julung kalinya dengan Digital Penang untuk menubuhkan Penang Internet Exchange PIX yang dikuasakan oleh D6 bagi memperkasakan infrastruktur kesaling hubungan di Pulau Pinang dan melonjakkan keupayaan digital rantau ini ke tahap baru melalui rangkaian internet yang lebih pantas, teguh dan berpatutan. Ahli Lembaga Pengurusan D6 Malaysia, Wong Weng Yu berkata, Pulau Pinang berada di kedudukan yang sempurna untuk muncul sebagai hub kesaling hubungan baru di rantau Asia Tenggara disebabkan tahap inovasi dan kemajuan teknologi semasa negeri itu. KGTS Group Berhad memeterai perjanjian taja jamin bersama Hong Leong Investment Bank Berhad bagi menerbitkan tawaran awam permulaan IPO kumpulan di pasaran AIS Bursa Malaysia. Pelaksanaan IPO seperti yang diperincikan dalam draft prospektus kumpulan yang terdapat di laman web Bursa Malaysia Berhad melibatkan penerbitan kira-kira 218.03 juta saham baru. Laporan penuh di saluran 501 dan astroawani.com serta dagangnews.com.
Okey, baik. Untuk waktu ini kita nak memberi fokus kepada prestasi ringgit dan juga bursa. Saya nak bawa anda untuk meneliti berkenaan dengan angka ataupun prestasi ringgit buat waktu ini. Di mana kalau kita telitikan, jika boleh saya refresh sedikit untuk kita teliti prestasi ringgit pada sebelah pagi ini. Kalau kita lihat ianya berada pada sekitar 4.66. Masih lagi berada kalau kita telitikan di sini. Ianya agak mendatar dalam tempoh beberapa hari ini sekitar dalam range antara 4.6 sehingga 4.7. Range ini sebenarnya agak kompetitif jika kita telitikan bahawa banyak perkara-perkara yang akan berlaku di peringkat global yang mungkin sedikit sebanyak mempengaruhi seperti mesyuarat FOMC pada minggu hadapan. Ini masih lagi kita lihat bahawa ramai pedagang akan lebih berhati-hati sebelum membuat keputusan dan ini sedikit sebanyak mempengaruhi kadar ringgit yang berada pada sekitar mendatar 4.66 pada ketika ini. Okey, baik. Ini adalah update berkenaan dengan prestasi ringgit. Kita nak meneliti pula dari segi bursa. Bursa Malaysia pada ketika ini, jika boleh saya refresh untuk kita lihat, sekitar 9.15 pagi kemas kini ianya turun 1.03 jika kita bandingkan pada penutupan petang semalam. Ini merupakan angka melibatkan terkini adalah 1.449 di mana semalam ditutup boleh saya anggarkan sekitar dalam 1451. Okey, jadi ianya turun sekitar 1.03 mata dengan peratusan 0.07. Ianya menunjukkan penurunan jika kita fokus di sini masih lagi berada pada paras di bawah 1,500 ataupun antara sekitar 1,450 pada ketika ini. Jadi banyak faktor yang mungkin sedikit sebanyak mempengaruhi juga keputusan FOMC, bagaimana ketetapan-ketetapan tertentu di peringkat antarabangsa. Faktor luaran itu yang mungkin sedikit sebanyak mempengaruhi kadar ataupun nilai semasa Bursa Malaysia untuk waktu ini. Okey, jadi selepas ini kita nak ke segmen Jiwa SME. Saya nak bawakan laporan Jiwa SME selepas ini. Okey, Tinox Agro Business M sedang berhad pengeluar produk susu kambing jenama Caprima bakal menembusi pasaran antarabangsa termasuk Hong Kong, Taiwan, Singapura, Brunei dan juga Turki. Pengurus operasinya Muhammad Harits berkata kilang yang terletak di Marang manakala ladang ternakan di Setiu muncul sebagai syarikat tunggal yang menghasilkan pengeluaran susu kambing dengan kaedah ultra heat temperature atau UHT.
Menurut Muhammad Harits, Caprima menawarkan 6 perisa termasuk coklat, strawberry, jagung, kurma, kopi latte dan susu kambing asli. Pihaknya juga bercadang memperkenalkan 3 perisa baharu iaitu tongkat ali, karamel dan mocha sebagai inisiatif untuk melebarkan sayap perniagaannya. Jelasnya, platform digital memberi dimensi baru dalam memperkenal serta memasarkan produk secara sistematik sekaligus memberi impak positif.
Peningkatan boleh kata lebih daripada 70% lah daripada kita hari tu. Kita pakai sistem biasa kira borong apa semua kan. Dia tak kira dari segi branding tak berapa strong. Tapi selepas kita pakai media sosial ni dia dapat tengok sendiri customer. Yang pentingnya consumer akhir itulah, customer akhir itu yang dapat tengok orang kata macam mana produk kita dibuat macam tu. Pasaran dalam Malaysia buat masa ni dan insya-Allah kalau ikutkan perancangan kita dalam masa 6 hingga 8 bulan ni kita akan ke luar negara lah selepas kita dapat persetujuan HACCP. Kekangan kita sekarang ni adalah HACCP sahaja. Demand tu dah ada daripada luar negara.
Tambahnya, sebagai pengeluar produk berkualiti tinggi, pihaknya yakin sasaran jualan sebanyak RM3 juta berjaya dicapai penghujung tahun ini.
Kelebihan susu kambing Caprima ni, kita satu-satunya susu kambing UHT yang boleh tahan lama lah kan. Kebanyakan susu kambingnya kena frozen kan, dan juga orang kata dari segi logistik tu, kekangan logistik tu terlalu banyak lah, sejuk apa semua kan. Tapi dengan UHT ni kita boleh hantar mana-mana Korea dan boleh simpan kat suhu bilik. Jadi lebih senang dan mudah lah untuk transportation dan penghantaran kepada customer.
Muhammad Harits yang pernah berkhidmat sebagai jurutera berkata, pihaknya turut mendapat kerjasama Jabatan Veterinar serta bantuan pinjaman dari Permodalan Usahawan Nasional Berhad atau PNB untuk pembelian mesin baharu. Manakala Yayasan Pembangunan Usahawan YPU Terengganu menawarkan bantuan pembelian mesin untuk kod bar produk, pembungkusan dan pelabelan.
Asia tumpuan utama dunia. Dengan ekonomi yang semakin rancak, pembangunan lestari dan tenaga boleh diperbaharui, apakah pula impak kecerdasan buatan AI dalam perkembangan teknologi dan masa depan pekerjaan? Kami mendalami setiap berita dan cerita. Saksikan diskusi, dialog dan laporan khas di Agenda AWANI Asia bersama koresponden khas kami setiap Sabtu 9 malam di semua platform Astro AWANI.
Ucapkan selamat tinggal kepada gangguan perkhidmatan apabila anda mendaftar auto-debit dengan Astro.
Rasa macam dah jatuh cinta.
Anda akan menikmati penstreaman hiburan tanpa gangguan. Dan berpeluang memenangi iPhone 15 Pro setiap bulan. Mudah saja. Hanya daftar melalui aplikasi My Astro dan iPhone 15 Pro baharu mungkin milik anda.
Bertemu kembali, kita masih nak memberi tumpuan berkenaan dengan COP28 yang berlangsung di Dubai, Emirat Arab Bersatu, di mana selepas tumpuan diberikan kepada isu kewangan iklim pada Isnin, COP28 hari ini beralih kepada perbincangan tenaga dan bahan api fosil. Ini merupakan isu utama yang mencetuskan ketegangan dalam persidangan yang dipengerusikan Emirat Arab Bersatu yang merupakan pengeluar minyak ke-7 dunia. Pakar perubahan iklim meneliti kesungguhan UAE dalam meletakkan agenda mengurangkan penggunaan bahan api fosil dalam dokumen akhir COP28. Satu laporan saintifik mengenai trend pelepasan untuk tahun 2023 bakal dikeluarkan. Ia bakal menyaksikan sama ada wujud perkembangan positif dalam mengurangkan pengeluaran gas rumah hijau. Pada Isnin, Presiden COP28 Sultan Al-Jaber menepis dakwaan yang dirinya tidak mempercayai data sains iklim. Al-Jaber memberi respons selepas The Guardian melaporkan komen Al-Jaber pada bulan lalu yang menafikan data sains kaitan peningkatan suhu dunia dengan penggunaan bahan api fosil. COP28 yang berlangsung di Dubai menyaksikan penyertaan terbesar lebih 86,000 penyertaan membuktikan kesedaran global berkaitan perubahan iklim. Perpindahan kepada sifar karbon khususnya bagi syarikat korporat bukan sahaja memerlukan iltizam tampuk kepimpinan, sebaliknya pengetahuan yang luas. Justru sudut bantuan diperlukan untuk memastikan pemimpin syarikat tahu strategi yang diperlukan untuk memindahkan fokus perniagaan ke arah sifar karbon. Ikuti temu bual editor Astro AWANI Zulfitri Yusof bersama Luis Alvarado Martinez yang merupakan Head of Gaia World Economic Forum.
Kami masih lagi berada di Dubai City Expo. Inilah tempat berlangsungnya COP28 di mana segala dialog peringkat tertinggi yang melibatkan ketua negara, percambahan idea di peringkat saintis, NGO, pakar ekonomi, semuanya ada di sini. Demi akhirnya untuk mencapai dan juga mengatasi risiko perubahan iklim, untuk memastikan suhu iklim dunia tidak naik sehingga 2 darjah Celsius lebih. Kerana itu mungkin malapetaka yang besar yang kita bakal hadapi nanti. Tapi dalam aspek keseluruhannya, untuk melancarkan ataupun menggerakkan segala strategi untuk usaha perubahan iklim ini memerlukan duit, memerlukan dana. Bagaimana negara-negara kaya membantu, bagaimana syarikat-syarikat besar juga mengambil kira. Itu yang akan saya bincangkan. Saya ingin bersama dengan Luis Alvarado Martinez. He is a key person for the head of Gaia. And I just read your bio or profile somewhere that you work closely with the Chief Executive Officer of the corporation to help them to, for the green action and stuff like that. How you can explain more about that?
Excellent, and thank you so much for having me. Gaia it stands for Giving to Amplify Earth Action, as a new muscle and a new effort at the World Economic Forum, which is the international institution for public and private collaboration. So it's really this effort where we say, how can we help CEOs and corporates and companies who need to transition their business models and their value chains towards net zero? How can we help remove different obstacles for them to go faster by bringing other actors, right? The World Economic Forum really historically has brought governments, private sector, civil society, all to design common solutions. Now Gaia is trying to bring philanthropy into that equation, right? We see philanthropies which have a number of catalytic tools, right? Their resources are more agile, more nimble, can reach to places where government and private sector cannot. So if you bring them and align them with what the private sector is struggling with and remove obstacles, the private sector really goes faster.
What's the main reason they struggle, and why it's so difficult to transform their needs and their action, their business model, tend to more greener? Because sometimes they say that they're quite green, but it's more to their added value for the company, but nothing goes to the investment and the funding. Is it real? Is it true?
Look, it's a very good question, and it's a complex, right, system. We're talking about climate change. There's so many different moving pieces. When you move one, immediately other systems. So you really need a systems change view. Corporations sometimes struggle with the lack of technical knowledge, a research gap. It can be sometimes they need governments to have a different policy and incentive that allows them to be secure that their pathway is the right one. Sometimes they have financing needs. So it's all about how to say, how do we look at the picture and all of the things that are needed? I bring philanthropies and civil society and governments to really help move. So it's really around aligning everybody's efforts towards one same goal.
How's your strategy to align all those things?
Well, that's the superpower of the World Economic Forum, right? It's bringing all these different actors who otherwise wouldn't be talking to each other, who are all trying to solve the same problem from different angles, and bringing them into the same room and say, can we design a common pathway? Can we use, if you're a government, your policy tools, if you're private finance, your financial tools, if you're civil society, your advocacy and knowledge tools, and align them towards a common path, right? That is, I think, the magic of the World Economic Forum, and we need more multi-stakeholder solutions, because climate change is a problem that goes beyond borders, goes beyond sectors, goes beyond levels. So unless we all come together to design, we won't be able to solve it.
When we're talking about the philanthropies, it should be quite systematic action needed. There are so many philanthropies, but there's still lack of funding, and it turns to the action. How do you picture?
Could you repeat that again?
There's so many philanthropies, but still lack of investment and funding towards the action of the green or the climate change. What's happened? How we can picture the whole scenario?
So I think one of the challenges that we hear from philanthropists when talking to them is that they think climate change is too big of a problem for them individually to solve. They feel that they're
just because of lack of knowledge, or just
lack of knowledge, lack of understanding of how they can have an impact. So part of what Gaia is trying to do is inspire more philanthropists to get into the climate and nature challenge, more philanthropists to come together. Right? It's very different if one philanthropy tries to do something than if 100 philanthropies work together with the private sector to move markets. So there's a lot of helping philanthropy transition and understand how their tools can help governments and private sector move faster, how they can be more agile with their resources, and how to build more bridges, right? Philanthropy, the same as other sectors, have been working very siloed in the past. So it's all about bringing public-private philanthropic, right? Before we were talking about public-private partnerships. Now we think that public-private philanthropic is a vehicle that can help us go faster in shifting markets.
Action should be taken now, and there's no time frame. We work in an emergency period for the climate change. But how do you think the corporate, the big corporation, take the action to be involved with this issue and this topic?
Look, this is part of the core of why the World Economic Forum comes to COP, right? We really want to help more action and more deployment of investment when it comes to climate and nature. So it's really by bringing these multi-stakeholder meetings together, where we bring corporates in the same room with governments, with civil society and the philanthropies, to discuss common solutions that will allow corporates to move faster, right? Sometimes the issues that corporates face to move faster are not fully understood by other actors. So by us bringing that muscle together, we really can design common solutions. Because as you said, this is the decade of action. There's a lot of action that is happening, but we need more, and we need scale, right? So it's how can we take all of the solutions that already exist and almost 100x and go faster by designing common solutions.
The most historic event happened yesterday when all the countries agree, and the COP28 agrees to do the funding for the loss and damage. How do you can say about that, and how it should the corporate and the big company or the philanthropy should take part together?
So I think, again, we are very happy with how some of this is progressing. It's all about common solutions. How does the World Economic Forum keep bringing all these partners together to move faster and remove obstacles? So yes, that was a great kind of first step, but we need more, and we need to move faster, and because we are here in the UAE, in one of the regions most affected by climate change. So we are going to be seeing a lot more of that. So really our role here is to bring people to have consensus, to move faster and at scale.
You work closely with the politicians, you're aware about how they work, and then we do agree that a lot needs to be done by the policymaker and the politician. How they should more articulate about the issue of the climate change, and not make the climate change issue as just a popular issue for the sake of their popularity. Should be based on the facts and based on the action. In your opinion?
I think science is very clear, right? But the issue here is that climate change is something that goes beyond borders. So we need global collaboration, global solutions, global mechanisms, and we need every country to align that this is a priority to, yes, decarbonize their own economies, but look at this as we all need to move forward in the same direction. So this is how we see our role, right? It's how do we bring people into those rooms to see this as a global challenge to move in one coherent global way.
So after COP28, what it takes you, what's the next plan, what we can do, what's the collaboration that you're looking for with other stakeholder and other partners?
So the World Economic Forum is really known for our annual meeting at Davos. So Davos in January will be another key moment where to see the progress that has happened here at COP and really see how do we continue to move the needle, continue to build common solutions between governments, private sector, civil society, philanthropy. So it really is another opportunity for us to continue inspiring the world to move faster and at scale.
World Economic Forum kita bakal berlaku di Davos bulan depan. InsyaAllah kami juga akan berada di sana. Perhaps we can meet Luas after this at Davos in January, dan juga itu juga kita melihat bagaimanakah perincian dan juga apa yang dibincangkan di COP28 ini dapat dibawa ke peringkat yang lebih tinggi ataupun di peringkat yang lainnya yang melibatkan pemain-pemain industri dan juga pihak yang lebih besar seperti di World Economic Forum yang bakal berlangsung pada bulan depan. Sekian saja perkongsian saya di COP28 di Dubai ini. Kembali bersama rakan tugas di studio.
Music hit terkini.
Mereka bersedia sahut cabaran.
Pada pendapat cik,
nervous tadi macam tahap terlebih sangat ah.
Dia memang literally blank.
Hello.
Bakat dicungkil.
Bakat lakonan ni sangat penting untuk Hero dan Dewi.
Bakat yang paling penting adalah lakonan and show it to us.
Siapakah yang berjaya memukau mata juri? Hero Dewi Remaja. Jumaat 10 malam di Astro dan On Demand.
Dua rekod perlawanan terakhir The Eagles dan The Reds berkesudahan seri. Kini, masing-masing bercita-cita untuk menang. Dan The Villains berhasrat untuk menyambut The Gunners dengan tugas sukar. Perlawanan besar menanti pastinya sengit. Premier League secara langsung di Astro.
Meraki Group adalah sebuah syarikat solusi robotik Malaysia yang telah menandatangani memorandum persefahaman MOU bersama Kementerian Belia dan Sukan Malaysia dalam meningkatkan usaha ke arah pemerkasaan belia dalam pendidikan dan juga kemahiran latihan dalam bidang robotik dan juga pembuatan drone. Dan dalam episod kali ini untuk kita meliti sejauh mana pemerkasaan dalam bidang robotik dan pengeluaran drone di Malaysia dan bagaimana untuk kita lihat lebih mendalam terhadap pelaksanaannya, dan kita akan bawakan tetamu kita. Let's welcome our guest Surya Afandi, Chief Operating Officer of Meraki. I want to say thank you very much for joining us. Maybe we can start with the first question is, what's the story behind Meraki and what's inspired the company to dive deep in the world of the Robotics Academy?
Yeah, hi. Thank you very much for the invitations. I think it's a good opportunity that I think we can share. Sharing what's best that we can actually penetrate our youth. So that is where we comes out. Meraki is a company with having UAV drone and robotic solutions where we are focusing more on agriculture. So we are focusing on agriculture and we are expanding our arm on the academy. So why academy and why we're expanding into education, training and courses. So this is where we are looking at the collaborations with Ministry of Youth and Sports is actually looking into why we are focusing on the youth and how we are bringing the technology along the line that we can get the rollout of industries along the way. Okay. The academy was actually is another branch or another expansions that we're looking at in how we can penetrate on the explorations in terms of educations and in terms of how we can instill the awareness of a new career, which is called drone pilot, right? So part of the courses and what we have, so the collaborations with IKBN or actually Ministry of Sports and Youth is actually looking into the opportunity, getting together the industry player and the ministry to get the technology involved in the most of industry, especially focusing in Malaysia as well.
All right. When talking about the partnership, how did the dynamic partnership between Meraki and the Ministry of Youth and Sports ignite, and what groundbreaking changes that you foresee for the youth of Malaysia?
I think looking at the current trend, everybody knows youth are focusing more on the gig economy. So aligned with that, we are looking at how we can bring a new forward of technology involvement in terms of career. So that is where the functions of academy being created by Meraki, so that we can look into the changes in terms of bringing the new era or the new revolutions in technology usage in the industry. For example, in this case, when we are dealing with agriculture or plantations, so we are actually coaching the youth or coaching our team to actually using drone in doing the spraying, fertilizing, right? You are doing all the mappings, you can get the technology involved with the better results. And a part of career involvement in terms of new chances to be a drone pilot. So that is where academy looking into to spread the technology across, so that from the gig economy, we are now focusing to the new revolutions of the technology usage.
And we can see that Meraki Academy aims to be inclusive, welcoming participants without specific requirements. Can you share some exciting ways the Academy plans to cultivate interest and professional development in robotics?
Okay. To be honest, when we are looking into qualifications, right, we have a lot of degree holders, we have a lot of diploma holders, we have all the university leavers, right? So they are focusing in a more professional career. They are having a qualification, certifications for them to move forward with the focus in career that they have graduated. So looking into this, Meraki is taking the opportunity on the school leavers. You know, those are the ones that you really don't have, or you are not having an opportunity to further your studies in university, colleges, and in terms of certification. So looking at the skills and talent, that is the main focus that Meraki are looking at. Okay, to build a career, if with the interest and how we can develop that talent to be useful in terms of aligning the technology usage, it's a beautiful career. That's how we make agriculture succeed. Bringing the technology, bringing the youth to the agriculture was a big challenge back then, right? So this is where we brought up the youth, okay, the talents coming down to the agriculture with the use of technology, and they can ease the job. It will increase their productivity. It will increase the knowledge of how they can improve their skills through technology. So that was the main what academy is looking at with the collaborations with the youth, Ministry Sports and Youth, and also how we can develop better.
Surya, definitely Meraki's academy course offering sounds intriguing. Can you walk us through a few examples and shed some lights how this program is steering Malaysia robotics industry towards its 2030 goals?
Okay, that's a goal to achieve, right? That's how we actually looking at where is the way forward or move forward of Meraki Academy. When we look into how to bring back these youth, talent, skills, and technology together, the combinations of all bringing us a guarantee. So Meraki came out with the idea of how we can actually bring this to make it a reality, right? So coming into the picture, we actually guaranteed the job. Once completion of the certifications and the training or courses, we will actually come and tag along that the job guaranteed is a main subject that we want to focus on. Because why? Looking at once you've been educated, right? Once you have graduated from the training and courses, if you are not utilizing those has been taught to you, right? It will just gone through away. So this is how we brought an idea that all the participants or who are the trainees, right? When they in, we will give them the job guaranteed, and of course they will come back to their own community. That's an example that we did. For example, we are serving agriculture or plantation in each state, right? For example, we're taking Northern, Kedah, Perak, right? So how we do is we just train the community along the youth and youngsters in Kedah, Northern, and others. Once they are graduated, they have been certified, they will be back to their own states to serve their own community. So parents will be happy, the community develops, right? That's how we actually instill the idea of having not only an education focus, but it's a family-oriented focus with a technology-driven that we actually upskill the talents of the youth.
Definitely, Meraki Academy seems to offer job guarantees and engaging learning experience. Maybe can unpack how Academy ensures employment opportunities for graduate and plans to tackle real-world challenges through on-job trainings, programs, OJT, programs, post-graduations.
Okay, I think elaborating from the previous sharing, right? When we are looking into how they are continuing their studies or what they have been doing, the knowledge that they have, the experience that they have learned on the academy, this is where we can actually flow them into the real on-job training. Right, the real world of the plantations, for example, the real world of the telecommunication towers inspections, right? So these on-job trainings will actually improve and actually materialize what they have learned in the classes. All right. So during the courses, during the trainings, this is what they have learned, and we brought them to the real world of the industry so that they can execute, they can implement, and they can actually do the job in the operations so that they can continue on the career from one level to another level.
All right. Looking forward, maybe you can share the roadmap for staying ahead in the ever-changing fields of robotics, education, and delivering top-notch learning experiences on the international stage.
When we are talking about technology, I think that is the beauty of it. Right? It doesn't stop at one country. It doesn't stop at the only domestic market. It will actually explore to other markets. Meraki, instead of business operations and business expansions, we have gone through to Asia, all right? We have gone through to African market as well. So this is where we tag along academy's functions, okay, education's functions, so that we can flow the technology over to other countries, especially international. So this is how we brought our business to global. It's not only talking about the real servicing that we have done for these countries, but we are taking along the education's trainings for their own youth in other countries, right? So for example, in Tanzania, we went to Rwanda and other countries. So this is how we tag along locally in Malaysia. This is how the best practice we have, and this is how we can flow the technology over to international market.
Meraki Academy aims to boost Malaysia technology skills, focusing on robotics. How does the Academy plan to use robotics in services, agriculture, manufacturing, and what important contribution does it hope to make in its ambitious effort?
I think looking at the whole industries, okay, drone will be part of what we are learning on technology and robotics, right? We have aerospaces and others. So when we are looking into this is the how we looking into the best way of move forward, right? Bringing collaborations with educations, it's instill the interest, all right? We are actually preparing another step level or another stage for our youth, all right, for our youngsters to be the next generations with input of technology usage in robotics, for example. So this is where Malaysia heading, right? I wouldn't deny this is how we are bringing our youth to another level, to another stage, so that when we actually evolve, and this is where the technology world brings the changes to the world.
All right, definitely this is a very good insight. I want to say thank you very much to Surya Afandi, the Chief Operating Officer of Meraki, on sharing how the efforts to boost robotics and even drone sector within the youth. Again, I want to say thank you very much, and definitely we'll see you again. Dan itu adalah perkongsian terakhir yang yang dapat saya kongsikan ketika ini mengenai bagaimana untuk kita memacu kecemerlangan robotik Malaysia dalam kalangan belia, dan semua perkongsian ini akan kami rangkumkan dalam astro.com dan semua platform digital Astro AWANI.
Dua beradik dibesarkan oleh keluarga angkat penuh konflik.
Ini kau mahal ni. Tempat aku belajar tu banyak anak orang kaya. Macam ni ke anak yang nanti besarkan selama ni?
Sekarang ni masa kita balas jasa nanti dulu.
mencari jawapan kepada tragedi lalu.
Satu hari saya akan jadi senator. Angan-angan boleh tapi kena... Parah ni! Sebabkan dia ni, mak kita tak bersalah tu mati. Aku janji kita akan dapat keadilan tu, Mak.
Jangan lupa janji di Astro dan Astro Go.
Kerajaan melaksanakan audit subsidi minyak masak selepas ia dijangka meningkat 4 kali ganda menjelang hujung tahun depan.
Angkatan Pertahanan Awam Malaysia APM memilih Sabah sebagai kanvas kajian bagi meremajakan semula organisasi itu.
Sarawak telah menerima kehadiran 3.18 juta pengunjung ke negeri itu, melepasi lebih awal sasaran untuk tahun 2023.
Sabah dan Sarawak mempunyai potensi besar sebagai pelengkap pusat ekonomi di Semenanjung.
So firstly, if I'm going to start with you, Dato' Hamza, we're going to go down the panel that way, is I'd like to ask each and every one of you, starting with you, Dato', to briefly explain what is your personal and your organization's role in NETR and delivering NETR.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good afternoon. Thank you, my big brother, Mr. Rashdan. As Mr. Rashdan mentioned just now, it's a bit troublesome to speak when you have someone next, I don't know, quarreling about I don't know what. Anyhow, SEDA is a very small agency. At first, I never expect that the Ministry of Economy of the government will choose us to be part of the NETR or any of the flagship projects, because I thought biomass or bioenergy will go to the Ministry of Prime Industry and Commodity. But nevertheless, we've been asked and tasked to champion the bioenergy clustering project with a target to increase demand from biomass. So, as we know, even myself, when I first joined SEDA, asking the question, how come Malaysia is one of the largest producer of palm oil and we are not leading in the bioenergy sector? We have all the waste, the EFB, the pomegon. So I asked a few of my friends. One of the reasons they say it's not economy, it's not feasible to do it in our country. They rather export it to Japan, to Korea, to US, and many other countries who offer a better tariff for biomass. So that's our mentally or our objective, to make bioenergy sector more attractive, more feasible in our country, in our own country, using our own waste. So from our previous study under Malaysia Renewable Energy Roadmap, we identify about 3.6 gigawatt of potential under bioenergy sector. But until now, there's only about 1 gigawatt is connected from the bioenergy sector. This is about only 27% from the total potential that we have. So in this project, we plan to clustering all the small mills into one cluster, and we will aggregate their feedstock and set up a centralized biogas or biomass plant. As you all know, from a study, smaller plants will have a bigger and larger capex per megawatt. In IRENA, a report that did a study in Asia Pacific, Middle East, South America, they found out that a bigger bioenergy plant with capacity between 20 to 30 can reduce the levelized generation cost by 43%. Under MIRA, we target to reduce the cost by, not so ambitious, about 10%. So, besides clustering the mills, we also would like to have an attractive business model to invite the millers to join as a co-investor in the centralized bioenergy plant for each cluster. Because that's the way we can secure a larger and reliable feedstock for the plant. So under the study, previous study, or desktop study, we identify about 16 clusters all over Peninsular Malaysia, consists of 133 mills with a potential of 444 megawatts. So, and then we will start the study probably maybe the first quarter of next year, and will take around 8 to 12 months. Once the study is completed, we move into a pilot project phase. We will choose one of the cluster, and the pilot project will take around, I think, almost a year. And once completed, there will be a showcase and also a platform for us to identify any improvements needed. And once the pilot project is successful, we will then duplicate the same model for the rest of the clusters. So I think that's all about bioenergy clustering. Thank you.
Thank you, Dato'. I'm just going to give each panelist their 5 to 10 minutes on the pilot projects. Then I will come back to you. I've got a lot of interest on biomass, biogas. You're absolutely right. It's such a shame. We are one of the largest producers of palm oil, together with Indonesia, of course. But there's hardly any. There's almost immaterial amount of biomass and biogas energy generation. So the potential is there. Okay, Dato' Izam. So over to you in terms of your involvement, commitment, your organization's participation in NETA.
Thank you, Danny. I think it's a bit more calm now. I think they went for lunch. So let's wrap it up before they come back. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for having me here. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, fellow panelists. Just a quick introduction of who we are. We are from Iskandar Investment Berhad. Iskandar Investment Berhad is a subsidiary of Khazanah Nasional Berhad, the Sovereign Wealth Fund of Malaysia, Employees Provident Fund, as well as the state government of Johor. The mandate for Iskandar Investment Berhad is very straightforward. Is to build an inclusive and sustainable metropolis of the future. So my angle is a bit different. Most of them come from the supply side and regulator. I'm more on the demand side. So basically the mandate for Iskandar Investment Berhad during in its inception was to build the critical infrastructure in Iskandar, Malaysia. And Iskandar Investment Berhad was given the task to champion, to build the new central business district in the southern region of Malaysia, which is in Iskandar Puteri. And over the years, it has evolved into becoming a strategic developer on driving the economic growth in Iskandar Puteri. And currently, we have 3 main development which is ongoing. Firstly is the Edu City, where we host international universities and local universities, as well as vast options of international schools, American syllabus, Canadian, IGCSE. Secondly is the upcoming Wawari Township, which is a sustainable and affordable township, which is meant to be used to populate the area of Iskandar Puteri. And last but not least, is the most important part, which is to build the first net zero carbon central business district in Southeast Asia, focusing and centering on digital, technology, innovation, and global business services. So when I go out there and when I talk to potential investors, why we feel that this is the best place to actually consider in moving your regional HQ. We are actually at the epicenter of Southeast Asia, one of the fastest growing regions in the world. So we don't just talk about being in Johor or in Malaysia or next to Singapore, but at the epicenter of economic activities in Southeast Asia. 655 million population, fastest growing region in the world, with combined GDP of 3.2 trillion. And Interestingly, more than 80% of the Fortune 500 companies are present in Southeast Asia. The next question is, if they were to come to Southeast Asia, if we, the Malaysians, would like to attract them to come to Southeast Asia, where is the place for them? Where would the regional HQ be? Hence, during the Asia Pacific Climate Week, we have launched the first net zero carbon CBD. We believe the positioning of Medini as the first net zero carbon CBD will be a unique selling proposition for Malaysia. We have been talking about NETR, about clean energy, but what is the product to attract these companies to move here, to be attracted to this? We need to have a sustainable CBD for generations to come. So when we talk about building this CBD, it is not strictly a greenfield. We have been around for the past decade, and currently we are part of the National Technology Innovation Sandbox, NTIS. We have Drone and Robotic Zone, one of the largest drone sites operating in Malaysia, and also an AV and EV test site, which is also recognized by the Road Transport Department. And the Johor State has earmarked us to be the digital and innovation hub of the state of Johor. And currently we have about 60,000 population within a 10 minutes radius from the CBD, and more than 50 companies within 11 industries in Medini. So we have international companies such as AG Startech, DHL, Katunaxi from Belgium, Sankyu, even DJI, and Okakichi Games. So these are the companies that we would like to attract, and we would like for them to invite them to be with us in Medini, and hence we launch the new CBD, which will be the first net zero carbon CBD. So in a nutshell, the CBD will be a compact CBD, will be an efficient CBD. We have vast amount of land as our asset, and we know that for Singapore to continue to grow, one of the biggest input for economy is actually land and also talent. So we have to build that. We do have the land, but at the same time we need to build the talent as well. So we do not see Singapore as our competitor. We see them, and we have this symbiotic relationship with them to attract those companies in Singapore to continue to grow, and they will have to look at Medini as an option. And currently, we have done our baselining, and we are quite confident that we will be able to reach net zero within 2035. Currently, we are also doing mangrove preservation program. We own about 1,000 acres of mangrove. And we are also working with Maybank to look, and some other financial institutions, to look into nature-based solution of financing, where if these companies, the SME companies, were to be based in Medini, they will be able to get sustainability-linked financing easily because of the net zero proposition that we have there. So ladies and gentlemen, just a quick one before I pass the mic. IIB is actually fully aligned with NETR and other policy announcements. And this net zero carbon CBD is a testament to our effort and part to support the government's aspirations in augmenting Malaysia's attractiveness as an investment destination. And this initiative also has been earmarked to be part of Khazanah's RE Zone flagship project under the National Energy Transition Roadmap. And I would like to take this opportunity to also invite you to come over to Medini to explore and see yourself what we have built for the past 15 years, and also to enjoy some very good asam pedas. So that's on me. So I'll just pass over. Thank you very much.
No, thank you, Dato' Izam. Just to very briefly elaborate a little bit, that was a very good long spiel, I suppose. You are a very good salesman. I'm sure a lot of us now want to move there. But the basic concept of IIB and Medini and Iskandar was that it's supposed to grow together or alongside Singapore. It's like what Shenzhen is to Hong Kong. So what Shenzhen is to Hong Kong, is what Dato' Izam wants to do with Medini, with Singapore, just 10, 15 minutes away on the causeway. There's still a long way to go yet, but I think the potential is tremendous. Okay, Robert, over to you now, to the wonderful state of Sarawak.
Right, good afternoon. Thanks, Rashdan, and also to the organizer for having me here today to share on what SCDC Energy is doing. Rashdan has already given a very good introduction on SCDC Energy, so I'll just briefly explain what we do in Sarawak, right? So within the NETR framework, SCDC Energy is taking charge of the taking lead in the hydrogen portion, all right? Now, in Sarawak, domestically, we are building a network of multi-fuel stations. So this network of these stations will have, at the moment, fossil fuel, EV charging, and also hydrogen refueling, right? Now, how we are going to make that work is, starting in Kuching, we are already revamping the public transport system to be hydrogen-based. So it's being run by our sister company, Sarawak Metro. So there's this hybrid tram and bus thing called Autonomous Rapid Transit, running on hydrogen. It's now at a POC stage. Anyone going to Kuching, you can most probably catch it on the road somewhere running. Apart from that, there'll be feeder buses running on the hydrogen fuel. But of course, to support all this domestic demand, we are building a hydrogen plant in Samarahan itself within the ART and bus terminal. So then for the export market, where I think one of the key reasons, like what Rashad mentioned, the hydrogen hubs. So this most probably will be the first hub in Malaysia, right, in Bintulu. We are working with our Korean and Japanese partners, and also potentially our domestic partner, Gentari, as well. So our hydrogen hub in Bintulu, we are looking to build a capacity of up to 250,000 tons of green hydrogen annually to be exported to mainly Korea and Japan, and most probably some regional market as well, if there's a demand for it. Okay. Apart from just hydrogen, we actually, like what Dato' mentioned earlier, on bioenergy, we are potentially also looking at that, right? So that we can increase our own capacity, and also large-scale solar farms in our SCDC petrochemical park. Right, thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Of course, Sarawak has one of the best laksa that I love, laksa Sarawak. I really love it. In Peninsula, we have laksa Johor, but laksa Sarawak is, way up there. Okay, but of course, apart from good laksa, Sarawak has a tremendous amount of renewable energy potential, which would make hydrogen hopefully an economic success as well. And of course, Sarawak Energy is involved in that in terms of hydropower. I believe Sarawak is probably one of the most richest states in terms of renewable energy per capita in the world. The potential is tremendous. Maybe right up there with South Australia, I believe. But you're together with all the potential that you have, I think Sarawak, you'll go far, and we look forward to your hydrogen hubs and your hydrogen being a success. And helping you is, of course, Gentari and Michelle. So Michelle, over to you in terms of Gentari's. You have many areas which Gentari is involved in NETA, not just hydrogen, there's a lot of stuff. So please let the audience know what you're up to.
Thank you, Danny. I am delighted and really honored to be with you today. So Gentari, who are we? The renewable arm of Petronas. What do? We provide to our customer with integrated clean energy solutions. So what does it mean? We leverage three pillars, key pillars: renewable, hydrogen, and the last one is green mobility. What our ambition is to, by 2030, to have up to between 30 gigawatt to 40 gigawatt of installed capacity renewable, between 0.7 to 1.2 million ton per annum of hydrogen, and 10% of market share in green mobility in target countries. So it gives you a sense of the ambition. So it's not just talk, it's also action. First and foremost, we welcome the NETR. Why so? Because we believe that we need a master plan that integrates the specificities of Malaysia in order to drive the complexity of energy transition. So we believe that it's important. And within Gentari, what are we doing? We are strongly contributing, and it's beyond just a paper plan. Huh? We are doing power plant. In practice, what are we doing? We are investing into people, into assets, into people to build the skills that we need today in order to develop this complex solution. It's quite a bunch of people today, hundreds of people, 300, more than 300 in Malaysia, and also assets. So we invest. So we invest into different type of assets that all of them contribute to the NETR. As an example, already mentioned by Robert, we are together working with SCDC in order to contribute to the development of the hydrogen hub in Sarawak, and also the Rambus project, heavy-duty mobility for public transportation, to offer cleaner solutions. So we are a partner of SCDC, and we are very proud of that. With a stringent target, delivery by 2025. So it's just not just talk. It's really, and it's already, we already invest time and money on that. And beyond that, also, we are working with all the key players in Malaysia, like TNB, in order also to develop floating solar on their dam, as an example, but also to co-develop solar plants. Sorry. We also importantly contribute to the decarbonization of Petronas with a target of 1 gigawatt of additional renewable capacity in order to decarbonize the assets. So it's another example. And maybe the last I would like to quote is green mobility. We already have 400 charging points in Malaysia, developing vehicle as a service solution in order to promote green mobility. So this is just a start, but concrete example that it's just not just talks, it's also a real asset on the ground with also people developing these assets.
Thank you, Michelle. And just to cap it all off, this session would not be complete without talking about the things that makes all of us go round and round, which is money, of course, right? Money makes the world go round. Now, there was a whole session yesterday, of course, regarding climate financing and transition finance. But very quickly, Azrin, with respect to NETR specifically, what is Securities Commission doing and looking at in terms of hopefully helping us mobilize NETR and hopefully supercharge it as well through capital markets?
Thanks, Danny, for the question. I think before I answer the question, I just would like to reiterate about the role of the capital market in financing the Malaysian economy. Over the past few decades, the Malaysian capital market has been instrumental in financing the Malaysian economy across various sectors. We mobilize financing for companies in various sectors to tap into the capital market. In respect of utility companies, the likes of TNB, the likes of IPP companies, a lot of them have actually tapped into the bond and sukuk market to raise financing, either for project purposes or either for working capital purposes. And in relation to renewable energy, in relation to energy transition, this is where the capital market will continue to play its role in financing the Malaysian companies to tap into the required amount of financing that they need to finance their respective projects. Even before NETR was released for Securities Commission Malaysia, we've been working very closely with the relevant ministries, with the relevant sectoral regulators, for example, Suruhanjaya Tenaga, the Energy Commission, SEDA, as well as agencies like NGTC in terms of coming up with outreach programs to businesses in the energy sector on how they can tap into the Malaysian capital market for financing. And in the Malaysian capital market, we have a wide option of financing available. We have large-scale financing for those that need more amount. We also have the alternative financing space through the venture capital, private equity, or through the alternatives such as equity crowdfunding and peer-to-peer financing platforms for those that would require smaller financing needs. And we've seen also over the years, a lot of Malaysian companies have tapped into the options. I'm excited to hear about the plan that Dr. Hamzah mentioned about integrating the biomass projects into one location so that you control the feed. We have an example of one company that have tapped into the alternative space through the ECF P2P platform for their biomass project. But because the financing is like so small that they can't go into the sukuk market yet. But with opportunities like you mentioned, so that then it is possible for larger scale of financing, for example, for that integrated facility to be raised through the sukuk market. Because typically for the sukuk market, you would need a larger amount of financing to make it worthwhile, not just in terms of the issuance processes, but also in terms of the expenses that you have to incur. For SC Malaysia, we have put in place the various facilitative frameworks available now. We have SRI, Sustainable and Responsible Investment Sukuk Framework. That's for financing of green, social and sustainability projects. This is modeled against the international principles, and we have to date around $6 billion US dollars has been raised in Malaysia for SRI Sukuk, and 20% out of this are for renewable energy projects. But we're also seeing more diversifications in terms of the utility of the SRI Sukuk. For example, we have also affordable housing, sustainable agriculture, and this is where I think in terms of your project, Dr. Izam, you mentioned in Medini, in terms of the low carbon CBD, it can also fit into the our Sukuk framework. Besides that, we also have Sustainable and Responsible Investment Link Sukuk Framework. This is based on the Sustainability Link Bond principles that has been issued internationally. These are for companies that do not have a green project, but they want to tap into the capital market, and they are able to link the utility, or rather the use of the proceeds, with the sustainability KPIs that they have set. So for example, if companies are able to show year-on-year reduction on their carbon emission in the low carbon district, so they are able then to issue the sukuk, the sustainability linked sukuk, and link that to the KPIs that they have set to achieve. So this is truly an innovation, and we're also lucky that the Ministry of Finance is supportive of our initiatives. They have provided tax deduction for issuers of SRI and also SRI linked sukuk. The SC has also put in place a grant scheme where the issuers can also tap into the grant to offset parts of their external review costs. So I would like to call on to businesses who are here today, if you want to tap into the SRI Sukuk and SRI linked sukuk market, and while the incentives are still there, because the incentives are not going to be there forever, because it's not going to be sustainable, it's just going to be there for a short time. But while it's still there, do tap into the sukuk market so that you can benefit from the lower cost of issuance. Thank you. And also with regards to NETA, your question on NETA, in terms of SC's involvement in NETA, we've been involved in consultations with the ministry throughout the development of NETA, providing our feedback in terms of what are the capital market financing options available. And post-NETA, post the issuance, we continue to work closely with the relevant ministries and agencies on how we can do more programs to enhance the awareness of companies that are involved in NETA in terms of what are the options available in the Malaysian capital market. I think just a couple of months ago, we facilitated a roundtable that we hosted jointly with the IFC, the International Finance Corporation, with MOE in attendance, with some of the energy sector regulators and companies that are involved in NETA were also invited alongside the financial sector intermediaries. So we talk about what sorts of
Madam Menteri Abdul Rahman, KSN, Tan Suzuki, Ketua Pengarah KSU dan rakan-rakan yang saya muliakan, termasuk mantan-mantan Ketua Pengarah dan pimpinan pengurusan kerajaan yang kita banggakan. Terima kasih kepada suri atau bersama. Saya pertama syukur kepada Allah SWT dapat bersama, dan di antara sebabnya kerana saudara saya Alex ni mendesak bertubi-tubi. Dia kata ini program ini sangat penting, pengiktirafan kepada profesion teknikal dari semua kementerian, dan perlu kerajaan menunjukkan sikap yang positif kerana peranan mereka itu sangat kritikal bagi memacu pertumbuhan negara. Kemudian ini adalah salah satunya menteri yang sangat sanggup menyantuni pegawai dan pengurus. Dan pengalaman saya dalam kerajaan dulu dan sekarang, ya biasa KSU ke ketua pegawai besar biasa, dan mereka berikan tentunya pengiktirafan. Tapi ini Menteri Alex ni luar biasa. Dia minta kita bagi pengiktirafan khas kepada mantan ketua pengarah, Ketua Reza. Ya, saya ingat dah 4 kali dia sebut pada saya. Lepas mesyuarat jemaah menteri, tengah makan tengah hari, waktu jumpa di mana dia berulang kali kena datang iktiraf profession